4chan is an image board website where users mostly post anonymously. There are several different boards ranging from general to paranormal and everything in between. Considering the anonymity of the site, it's often a place for very strange and disturbing happenings. I would like to mention that this video does not represent 4chan's website as a whole. Most of the strange and disturbing things that happen occur on the random board, otherwise known as B. It's definitely not a place for someone who is easily offended or has a weak stomach. While there are tons of disturbing things that happen, here's a list of the top 5. Number 5. The West Roads Mall Shooter. 19-year-old Robert A. Hawkins was the twisted person responsible for 9 deaths that occurred at West Roads Mall in Omaha, Nebraska. The events took place December 5th, 2007. In addition to the lives that Hawkins took that day, including his own, he also critically injured 4 others. The West Roads Mall shooting is considered the biggest mass shooting in Nebraska to date since 1958. According to timestamps on this 4chan post, it was posted roughly an hour before the shooting actually happened. The user explained that he would bring his rifle to the Van Moore department store in the West Roads Mall and try to beat Cho's high score. This is a reference to the shooter responsible for the Virginia Tech massacre who killed 32 people earlier the same year. Hawkins did in fact use a rifle in his shooting, and it occurred in the Van Moore store. To further prove that Hawkins made this post, the last line reads, "I'm going to go out in style," which is also a direct quote from his suicide letter. Number 4. Live suicide. Back in 2013, a college student simply referred to as Steven posted on 4chan that he was ready to take his own life. Steven explained that he had been a member of the community for so long that he wanted to give something back in a really special way. "I am willing to end hero for you all on cam," Steven stated on the post. An hero is, of course, a term used online for committing suicide. He received a surprisingly positive response from 4chan members encouraging him to do it, and he eventually set up a live stream. Not long after going live, he downed a bottle of unknown pills and a bottle of vodka. Then Steven started a fire in the corner of his dorm room and crawled under his bed. Everyone on the stream was either shocked he was actually doing it or generally just there for the show. People on the original 4chan posts were pissed off that they couldn't watch it because the stream was full. The stream reached a total of 200 viewers, which was actually the maximum allowed. While under the bed, Steven typed #I'm fucked and #oh my god I'm on fire. The video also showed firefighters entering the room and pulling Steven from under the bed. For a while after this event, video of the entire ordeal circled the web on various websites. A spokesperson from the university Steven attended later confirmed that the incident happened on campus. She claimed that Steven was facing family-related issues and was still in recovery. The university made an attempt to have the videos of Steven removed. However, it was nearly impossible as it was spread so far. It's questionable whether this all happened because Steven wanted his death to be memorable or if 4chan is really just this dark. Number 3. Check the news. In November 2014, an anonymous 4chan user posted a disturbing photo of a dead woman who was completely naked and had red marks around her neck. She was also bleeding in the same area. The post stated, "Turns out it's much harder to strangle someone to death than it looks in the movies." The commenters wasted no time in simply making fun of this alleged murderer for being dumb. Later on in the thread, the original poster commented, "Check the news for Port Orchard, Washington in a few hours. Her son will come and find her and call the cops." He also went on to mention that he had a BB gun on him that would help him to threaten the cops and ultimately be gunned down, successfully completing suicide by cops. More comments followed that were basically saying, "I don't believe you," but in a much ruder and vulgar way, of course. Roughly 2 days later, there was a newscast that also included an article by NBC News. It spoke about David Michael Kallick, the murderer and person behind the 4chan post. He turned himself into the police and admitted to strangling his live-in girlfriend. The article also states that the murder occurred in their home in Port Orchard, Washington. If you look back to the 4chan post, that's exactly where he claimed to be. Just as Kalik had claimed, his girlfriend's son came home from school and called the cops, who had already been notified of the 4chan posts. The victim matched the photos posted. Kalik was charged with second-degree murder. Number 2. The Mystery Shelter. This 4chan poster explains that his grandfather, a World War II vet, had built an underground bomb shelter beneath his property after his wife died suddenly in 1965. The poster had asked his grandfather about the shelter once, but he didn't seem to want to talk about it, and he told him to not ask about it again. Once his grandfather died at age 89, he took the chance to explore the shelter. The only reason, aside from curiosity, that he explored the shelter was to see if there was anything valuable to sell in the estate. The shelter began with a hallway that gave the option of going right or left. To the right there's just a rusted toilet and a pile of garbage. To the left, however, there was a padlocked door that led to another small hallway. From that hallway, a third entryway led to a room where about 7 faces were carved into the walls. On the ground below, this poster noticed human bones, several of them in fact, lying in what seemed to be a failed quick-dry concrete. The last few posts in the thread explain that the image of the bones were deleted and also introduces a new photo of a skull carving in the wall. The last comment from the original poster states, "That took a long time to type out and someone just knocked on the door, keep this bumped." After this, the poster never returned, and the post apparently 404'd right after the screenshots were taken. Number 1. I Am God. This post began in June 2014 and began a riddle amongst the 4chan community. A user posted a photo on the paranormal board. "Hey, I used to browse here a lot a few years back, but haven't stopped in for some time. A friend of mine recently had to send his computer into the shop because he thought he had downloaded some kind of virus. At the same time, he kept telling me about some weird shit that keeps happening to him in his house. The main one is he's been having issues with both lights and his television turning either on or off when he knows that he's left them the other way before leaving the room and returning. He hasn't actually witnessed them going out, but they're always opposite of how he left them. From what I heard, the only real thing that he noticed being up with his computer is that he kept finding image and text tiles in his downloaded folder that he never knowingly downloaded. Long story short, this got me thinking, do you think it could ever be possible for some kind of paranormal entity to either fuck with your computer? Or maybe even could the computer be the original source of whatever is fucking up his house? Shortly after this post, things started to get weird. The original poster uploaded 2 black and red photos which he had found on his friend's computer. They were scary for sure, but didn't seem to have much relevance, until one user made a point that the 2 images looked like halves of a face. As people continued to try and decode the meaning of this, a user found something within the larger portion of the image, or the upper half of the face. A message was buried within the image that said, "Rep Ra," which could be translated from Greek to, "I am." Another user found a binary sequence which could be used to translate the image to a text reading, "God." Therefore, the entire message reads, "I am God." A third image came up that looked very different from the others. However, a very clever user was able to format it to fit with the 2 original images by changing the color and stretching it out. Once added in, the top half and very bottom of a face are very clearly visible. As this is all being discovered, the original poster begins to experience strange happenings at his house. He takes a suggestion from a friend and begins to film inside. He posted a video to YouTube in which he seems to be very distressed as he walks through his house. This video will be linked below. Some viewers were able to catch a still frame of the window where a red face seems to be peering in. Viewers later found that around 18 seconds a voice can be heard saying, "Do not run from me." Another poster was trying to summarize all of the events in this ordeal, but when he attempted to post it, instead of being given a usual CAPTCHA image, he was given an image of the face in the window. As if all of this was not enough, the final piece of the image of the face was posted in another thread. When it was all added together, it created what seemed to be a screaming face. Yet another user posted a photo comparing this image to the face he found in the window, and they seemed strangely similar. Color-wise, they're pretty much the same. After the full face was posted, users reported having issues accessing the post, and some of them began receiving texts from a number that they did not know when they would try to access the post. Somehow, the number was appearing as a contact named Who. One of these people received an image of a knife pointed at 2 dolls with the text, "Fuck the whore." Someone suggested that this person send Who an image of the face. The response was binary code for "We all die," followed by an image of a figure carved into stone and 3 regular texts reading, "I hate you." This was pretty much the last update for this whole haunting ordeal, though there are still users digging more into details and clues related to this whole thing.